Hello YouTube and YouTube comrades alike, TemnoTsar here with yet another game review. As promised, I will be doing game reviews every weekend, and I'll just kind of rate them based on 5 topics. We got the soundtrack, which also includes the voice acting. We have the graphics, controls, gameplay, and then the storyline. Now, a lot of the games I play, the storyline and the gameplay kind of go hand in hand, so I apologize for that. Also, the last review I did was on Civilization Beyond Earth, and I kind of learned a lesson on that one. I got really dehydrated, and my mouth started drying out real bad, and I know the choice words that I said probably were really bad, and I apologize for that. So this time, I came prepared. I have a drink. Now, hopefully this doesn't dry my mouth out. It probably will. Orange juice has a tendency of doing that. Next time I'll probably drink water. That'll probably be a better choice. But anyway, without further ado, the game of choice for today, which will be Sunday, February 8th, I had to look at my calendar. The game of review today is Banished. It's actually the game that I originally one of the games I started my channel on. The game I believe I first started on was Star Wars. But anyway, Banished, another one of my favorite games, is kind of like SimCity meets Age of Empires. You got to manage your resources while building your city. And it's an indie game that I feel needs to get more light on it, because it's a really good game. I enjoy it a lot. I make a lot of playthroughs of it. But without further ado, let's do the review. The first part is soundtrack. Not really much I can say there. The music was meh. The sound effects were pretty generic. I can't really say a lot in the soundtrack, but if you play the game and you put it on YouTube and you talk while you're playing it, you really don't need the sound effects. If you are playing it though just for fun, I recommend putting in your own music, because even when I play off screen and I don't record it, I don't like their music. I'm sorry guys, I don't like the music, and the sound effects are really generic and they're boring. They really are. I have to give the sound effects on this one a 2. At the very end, though, I will calculate the points, because in my first one I actually already calculated them, and this one I forgot to do that, so I'm giving it a 2. Graphics. Not really that intriguing. I don't know what engine they use for the graphics. They're pretty much the same old graphics you see in most indie games. The water effect wasn't really that good. The shadow effect was actually really good. I like the shadow effect. I like the smoke effect too. The forest, trees falling down. I'm gonna have to give the graphics a 3, which is an average, because they really didn't do anything out there that really pushed the game. Now again, it's an indie game. Probably not a lot of funding. I've only seen one game by the company that actually made Banished, so I'm going to keep my eyes out on it, and hopefully they continue evolving Banished or go and make a better game or another game, but I have to give that one a 3. Oops, I'm already messing up. So I have to give that one a 3. Next one is controls. Now, much like other strategy games and whatnot, you have a nice HUD, or interface in this case. However, you have to customize it yourself, which is kind of a negative. I kind of wish you could set it up in the options, what pops up and where it goes. That way, at the beginning of every game, when you start a new game, you don't have to reset everything. That gets really annoying really fast, and it's time-consuming. But once you get all that set up, you can also do hotspots where you take a screenshot in-game. It doesn't actually take a real screenshot in-game, and you have the numbers and letters, which I've shown in my Let's Plays, the hotkeys to do that. And that makes the game really easy to find things. So I have to give that one a positive there. Other than that, everything else is pretty much organized nice and neat for you. The building blocks of your city, which are like your roads, your resource management, all of that's organized really beautifully. Beautifully? I don't even know if that's a word. So, much like all my other games, as long as you have a simple control for someone simple to learn, I have to give you a 5 on that. So, without further ado, let's put 5 in my calculator. So we got 5. I don't even know if you guys can see that or if I'm just blinding my camera and making it all no longer focus. Number 4, gameplay. I love the game. Don't get me wrong. Banished, by far one of my top favorite games. But I have a lot of issues with it. A lot. My first issue is... Let me get a drink because I'm going to be long-winded on this one. My first issue, and this is by far my biggest issue with the game, the AI. I can see why the home country banished them, which I will explain in the storyline mode. But I can see why their country banished them from their homeland. The AI is ridiculously stupid. First off, I make them a path. A nice stone path. Fastest way you can travel. And I mean, they will zoom across the map if they're on the stone pathway. They don't walk on it. They walk around it because they take the shortest path possible. But the issue is, if you're on the stone path and you follow the stone path, you'll get there faster. And I've seen it happen a few times where they actually did follow my path. But most of the time they don't. They take the shortest path possible, which pretty much makes the roads non-existent. You shouldn't even use the roads because half the time they're not going to use the roads. They're going to completely ignore them and take whatever path they feel necessary to take. Even if you put a building in their way, they somehow magically osmose their way through the building. That's the first issue. Second issue with the AI I have is they are just so stupid. I know I said that for the first one, but they are really stupid. In my Let's Play, which will be in the description below, they starve to death. I had gatherers who are sitting there picking the food for my farms, for my barns, for my people, starving to death. If you pick up a mushroom and you're hungry, aren't you going to eat it? Because I know I will. Or if you're a hunter and you kill a deer, I'm going to eat that deer before I take it to them if I'm starving. But yet I had the hunters and gatherers and the fishermen were dying first before anyone else was. What? Why? I'd understand the children starving to death or the foresters starving to death, but my people who get my food? Mind blown. The stupidity, just brain aneurysm. And then the final issue that I had with the AI was, again, their stupidity. I want you to build me something. Build it. You have the resources. Build it. Do something. They don't build it. It took them a year to build buildings for me. A year. I'm pretty sure even back then it only took months to build something. Not a year. Not a full-blown year. And I'm saying that because they literally would just sit there and stare at the building and not do anything. Now, I don't know if that was my fault because I had too many buildings paused and queued up, but regardless, that really irritated me. That was one of the issues why I had that great famine go through Defiance, is no one wanted to build anything. So, the AI is really stupid. Other than that, it's a basic build your city. Can't really complain. You got to manage your resources. The resource gathering's pretty simplistic. You got to get wood to build your buildings. You got to get stone to build buildings. There are some buildings that require iron. You got to have food, shelter, your basic necessities. For gameplay, I got to give it a 3. just because the AI irritates me so freaking badly. So I put a 3. Storyline. Storyline I like. It's very basic, very simple, and simple does it with me. The whole storyline is you control a group of people who were just banished from their native land in this barren wasteland or nice little valley, wherever you decide to settle, and you have to build up your civilization and survive there. I do wish they did a little bit more with the storyline, maybe have it to where later on the people who banished you come in and they try to reclaim you and say, hey, you're a colony now, kind of like the British. Whenever we came over to America, they're like, oh, well, you're a colony, you guys are now colonies, we're going to send our undesirables to you. I kind of wish they would have a little bit more of a political backing for the storyline, but that would go more into the gameplay, not the storyline. But the storyline's basic, simple, and I've never seen a game like that where you were banished, you got to build your settlement. If you guys know of a game like that, definitely tell me, because I would love to play a game like that. But for the storyline, since it is simple, it's easy, it's original in my mind, because I haven't seen any other like it, I have to give it a 5. Because, as you all know, simple wins with me. So, these are the scores. We have a 2 on the soundtrack, we have a 3 on the graphics, a 5 on the controls, another 3 on gameplay, and of course the 5 on storyline. So we hit equal for the total, which is a total of 18 out of 25. And in order for me to get my overall score, I have to hit equal, divided by 5, because there's 5 categories. 3.6. That is the rating I give the game, a 3.6 out of 5. That's not too bad. That's almost a 4. So, the game's good. I like it. It's some buggies that need to be fixed, some buggies that need to be fixed. Interesting. But definitely a game that could be improved upon. I do hope to see more games from the company. And as always, YouTube comrades, I'm going to end this video right here, right now. Rock on.